Here we go.
Hallo, herzlich willkommen hier auf der Boot 2024. Wir sind mal wieder live, diesmal auf der WTC9 Serie. Und ich habe hier bei mir einen Kollegen, aber auch einen sehr guten Freund, Niklas Augustin. Ich habe ihn gerade nach seinem Titel gefragt. Für mich ist er einer der wichtigsten Personen für mich bei Nimbus überhaupt, weil er auf alles immer eine Antwort hat. Er geht immer ans Telefon, gefühlt 24 Stunden und hat wahnsinnig viel Emotionen zur Marke Nimbus, wie ich auch. Und fährt selber viel Boot. Letztes Jahr habe ich ihn interviewt auf der 305 Coupé, weil er selber eine 305 Drophead fährt. Hat aber auch natürlich, gerade weil die WTC-Serie sehr stark in Skandinavien ist, gerade auf dem Modell, wo wir auch sitzen mit der C9. Und deswegen hat er natürlich auch sehr viel Meinung zur WTC9 Serie. Niklas, thanks a lot that you had some time again to go through the WTC9 series. So I think for many people, boating in Sweden is very different than what you know, or we all know. Like everybody knows how boating is done in Mediterranean. I think the most people, especially in Germany, know how boating is done inside on Germany on the rivers or on lakes and so on. But tell me a little bit how, even in your country, there's three ways of boating. It's the Stockholm archipel.
Yeah.
It's the inland lakes, which are having the size in other countries that would be nearly an ocean or so big.
Yes.
And then you have the west coast boating.
Yes.
So in these three regions, what is the difference already?
I mean, if you take both East Coast and West Coast,
Yes.
Of all islands, we have most islands in the world. So it's enormous what you can do or where you can do. If you go on small private islands with nobody there, or if you go in these marinas, big marinas, or very coasty, small like fishing marinas, stuff like that. More in the lakes, not the same amount of islands. So that's the main difference, I can say.
And in Stockholm, I remember people are really up for speeding. So top speed in the because the Stockholm archipel is more protected.
Yes.
Less big waves, and speed from A to B is really what it's counting. As it is in the Göteborg archipel, depending where you go, you can more or less go up to Norway border inside of the archipel, but sometimes you just 2 or 3 islands you have to. I did this myself already. You have to go out, and but you can also, some very beautiful islands are more out, so you already need, or you crossing, I know you love that, crossing to Denmark, which is probably a standard thing you do. And then you need to have a boat which is also more seaworthy than probably somebody using a boat in Stockholm.
Yeah, I would say that. And take a couple of in Stockholm, it's so many more islands with houses and also living all year around. So they're commuting every day to work. More on the west coast, it's some of the islands. That's all people are living all year round. But,
so in Göteborg it's more summer houses.
Yes, you can say that. Yeah.
So you named just a word which for German is not understandable really, and this is why we're sitting on here. It's good that you used it without we discussed it before. So you said you're commuting to an island.
Yes.
And this is why you named this boat also like this, or your design department. So tell me what for you is commuting with a boat.
Yeah, I would say then it's take the example of people that lives on an island all year around. They have to come to work, so they really commute during the trip instead of ferries. And some islands doesn't have a ferry connection all year around, so they have to have their boats.
So commuting means using a boat like a car. But not only like a car, like not as a sports car, which would be, people would more or less, this is a standard use of a boat, it's like a cabriolet, like this feeling, but it's more like a Sprinter then.
Yeah.
Or like a caddy or whatever. Yeah. So you want to bring garbage, you bring food, you take your bike into service.
Yeah. Building materials.
Any kind of support transportation to the house is then done by the sea.
Yes.
But then you don't buy yourself a second car or a second boat. Yeah. So that's why this boat also then needs to fulfill other needs. Because when you just commute, I think you have a perfect boat over there with the Alukin, for
Yeah.
example,
Yes.
because you can more or less can't destroy it. It also runs very well, but it's like then only fulfilling more or less one task.
Yeah, this one you need to be a little more careful with, but also then having the possibility to use it in the summertime or for your weekends when you go for a regular boat trip. And then
So you're visiting friends, or
Yeah.
you're doing a small vacation and so on. So the commuting is on this boat one of the use, as you can also use it for any other purpose, which is then the free time, the pleasure boat using.
Exactly. So open up the roof hatch, the big side doors and everything. Then it's more or less a open boat that you can use in the summertime in that case.
So what would you consider then for a commuting boat as the three most important values a commuting boat has?
Yeah, then cabin, of course.
Enclosed.
Fully enclosed cabin. And in our case, with the diesel heater.
Yes. So
because-
you really, because it could be -10. You've been boating at -10 with
Yes.
snow on the
Yes.
boat. I've seen pictures from your
Yeah.
side.
Yep.
So this could be standard procedure for weeks.
It is. And I would say walk around, but especially having a lot of things to hold on.
Because
when
you can't trust your legs always,
No,
because
no,
it's
no.
slippery,
Yeah.
it's icy.
Yes.
You cannot clean a boat that proper as a. You can put just salt.
Yeah, no, that's
It's
that's
not so good for
No.
the boat.
And then, as we do in Sweden, we most of the time moor up with the front of the boat. So what we have here is a very wide entrance on the boat.
Which is also in a very good favor for any mooring place. You have the WTC9 line, because you most likely also with these boats are in general mooring forward,
Yes.
as then you want to bring the outboard fully out of the water, and then this bow is in general in a very big favor. And I would name also the side doors.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because they are the side door on both sides, and relatively big side doors. So the side doors here are, I would say, nearly double the size nearly on the 365. So a much
Yep.
smaller boat, but the side door even has a bigger
And we need
focus.
we need to come in and out, two persons at the same time. Or for example,
So we can just,
yeah.
Michael is just filming that, so we could just maybe do that. So I go in.
You drive.
Yeah,
so
I'm
when you're
driving,
driving,
yes.
we should not need to move the driver. The driver
Yes.
should always be there.
So
to
you're
focus
there,
on.
and I'm still getting out here.
Yeah.
So you cannot block me,
At
really.
the same time, I can walk in behind you.
Yes. So there's no traffic jam which gets here.
So
And
that's a safe and practical part. But also then when we talked about summer, because it actually gets hot in the summer in
so
Sweden.
you open the roof completely, or very often you even leave the roof closed, or you
Yeah.
put the sunshade. That's not looked here. So you put the sunshade, and you leave the side doors open to
Yeah.
get the wind in.
Yes.
And then it's very important, I think, that you have a very good visibility at the helm, good seats, comfortable seats, because you're doing long distance driving, like stuff like a footrest is very important.
Yeah.
Good visibility to the chart plotter, safe, because you drive also at night then.
Yes.
So it's because it's anyway 4 o'clock night
Yeah.
in the winter. So there's more night
Yeah.
during the day than day. So
Maybe we should mention it when it's dark and not the night.
it's dark, true. But would you consider also then a cabin is for the commuting part is not really important? This is more than for the pleasure use.
For the pleasure use. But also
or
when
you visit
come,
neighbors.
Visit neighbors, or maybe
Have
you
too many beers.
maybe and stay overnight, and then with a diesel heater, for example, doesn't matter when during the year when it is.
Yes.
But also if you have a lot of bags, say that you're 4 persons or 5 persons going out to your house, then you're sitting here, then you don't want to have all the bags on top.
So
So an easy way to put them inside.
and also a small toilet, because if you do a longer distance,
And
So-
enclosed, so separate enclosed toilets.
a
It's
separate
very
enclosed
good.
toilet, and even a small sink down there, and a gas oven to get yourself something if it's a long trip to warm up.
Yeah.
We have the diesel heater also vents at the screen, which is very important. This is called defroster.
Defroster, yes.
This is very important because otherwise you will not be able to keep the front window fog free,
Yeah.
even from the humidity you bring on board.
I also was seeing the boat not only in Sweden, but go up in Norway, for example, up in fjords, put the skis on top of the boat, do some skiing, or you have it in the Mediterranean or in Florida, when you need to instead protect it from the heat. So
Yeah, because we can easily, we haven't done it on the C9 yet, but we have it done on the Axopars and so on. So an aircon, I know from the space here in here is no problem at all to install. So to get such a room on a air-conditioned level is not really an issue. The V10 here has a proper alternator. We can run it over an inverter, so running it and then constantly running it even on anchor for 2 hours, something like this, is not really an issue. So you can, even with people who are relatively unhappy with heat, but still living in a warm country or whatever, but they don't want to be exposed to the heat, it's a perfect way to get a car feeling air-conditioned driving with an enclosed boat. Cool. If we just go over to the W9, which is the same hull, it's in fact the same boat or the same hull, but just a very different layout, which I think is very important to mention, that this was a symmetric deck design. And here we have an asymmetric deck design, which we know from the Coupé series. So you have been introducing this 2009. If you, Vanessa, have a look here, please. So we're having a small,
asymmetric.
So this is a less wide sidewalk in comparison to the wide sidewalk on the starboard side, and this sidewalk is even wider than on the C9, a symmetric one, so very comfortable to go.
So I was this is one of my top 3 on this boat, the asymmetric deck, because you get so much more. You have very good passage here, but still you have so much more space inside.
It's combining 2 worlds. It's the, let's say, classic boat layout as we know it, with a big kitchen up. It's like a kitchen like on the Nimbus 3.5. Very long roof, protected, openable all the way back. So you can really have an open boat feeling, but you can enclose it also quite fast because the roof is so long. So we don't have a canopy to the top, just the electric one. We can completely enclose it. So it's a very modern, sporty boats design, but for people, for anybody, also for kids on board, and you have the same on your drop head, huh?
Yes.
So you also have that asymmetry. You have 2 kids, so you know how good that is from the safety that they can walk like this to the front.
Yeah, and that is very important for me when I'm driving the boat or whatever, to know where the rest of the passengers are.
Or your family is. And then this long window in comparison gives that, like, if you sit there, it is a very cozy, because it's a little bit more enclosed feeling, where you can sit here easily with, I don't know, when we see you there with 8 people, 7 people, and this cozy L sofa there. Me sitting here across.
Then in the top 3, the second one, I said, this is this enclosed cockpit. You're protected from the wind, getting social areas. There's so much sofas or seating area, and also then with a big galley.
And what I like, I said it this morning, like corners.
That corner is my favorite.
Yeah, because you're facing backwards, but also here you have a corner, there's a corner. So every corner gives you a cozy place to sit at. But as you say, this one, you can even, you can really rest here, looking backwards. It's a very nice place, and you can. I had this when I was with Julia in Sardinia. I was driving; she was mainly sitting here, reading a book. She had this beautiful view, but we were still very protected, and good communication. Because if she was sitting there in the back, it was more shouting to each other.
The wind isn't.
Here's the direct communication.
Yeah.
And I like the really long roofs, because when the roof is then closed, you don't have to be worried, also for the kids, that the sun is, always on them. So it's like, because the roof ends behind you, they're sitting, and also like the whole area where you live or where you stay the day is fully protected by the roof.
That is actually the number 3 on the list, the T-top. Both to protect from the sun, but also creating this atmosphere you get in here.
Because it gives a certain coziness.
It does, and also in the night, and when you have some good lights coming down.
And again, this is all completely enclosable very fast by a canopy, as well as the whole back here.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to mount because we don't need the top part of the canopy, which is always very complex because the walls just go down, and then the glass is also very clean, and you can really, you know, have a proper look out in comparison if it's like a full canopy construction. Even you can also buy that boat here without the T-top,
Yes.
which is funny wise very often I think in Norway.
Yeah.
So it's not in the Mediterranean, it's not I don't know, in the lakes in Switzerland. It's mainly in Norway. They don't like T-tops, they really like open
I
boats.
mean, when the sun comes, we really want to have it. So, but then with the enclosure of the canopy, if you have a lot of side wind, just take down one or two sides.
Then it's
you
also,
are
yes.
fully protected from it, but still feeling the outdoor feelings.
I know you have been, sorry for jumping a little bit, but tell me a little bit about this flooring, because you have that on your boat and you have also been testing it.
Yes.
I think for one or two seasons.
Two seasons
Two
now.
seasons before it was chosen as an optional flooring for the Nimbus. So
Yes.
it's called Eco-Teak.
Eco-teak, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so-
it's made of teak dust from production. We do other wood interior parts with the teak. So we take the dust and we mix it with recycled water bottle caps. So it get a, I think I love the look of it because it stays with this color. So it looks really new and fresh all the time. And it is wood, but it still
So
lasts.
the wood part in it, in comparison to only plastic materials, makes it more resistible against UV,
Yes.
and it also is not getting that hot
No.
because the wood has a kind of UV absorption function, and it's not even needed to be full wood. It's just this meal of
Exactly,
wood
yeah.
is enough for
Very close
getting
to-
this feeling. And there's
Yeah.
also a nice feel when you walk on it barefoot. And it's even from the supplier, from your normally teak and
Yes.
wood supplier.
Yes.
So it's more or less one sourcing you have there. Yeah, the kitchen is quite big. We said it already. Maybe we I just take my camera, Michael, just to show inside. The cabin is quite big. So we have a cupboard here on the side, and it's very roomish because we have the asymmetric decks design, and that it makes the front cabin quite high.
There's two good parts there, and we raised the roof, so we also get a sun pad on the front deck. So we get a bigger cabin plus a sun pad.
And we have even here skylights going into the toilet room and into the cabin. Very modern helm. Also low center of gravity, like we are going even a little bit down at the helm. So it's really a family boat. And now next we're going to the T9.
Yes.
So T9 we are having with a twin engine setup. Is there any ideas of having the twin setup at some point also for the C and W9, or
It's
it's in discussion?
It's in discussion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I really like the twin V6 on here. It makes the boat feel a bit bigger, a bit stronger. Let's going in Mallorca at sea. People really enjoy using the twin engine setup.
It's something with twin engines.
Yeah,
It is.
but we have to say also there was a big change with the V10 on the W9, also in Mallorca. So the V10 is, as an engine, fits better, in my point of view, on that boat than the,
Yeah, I
than
would
the
say
300.
if we go now with the T9, my favorite is single V10 400.
I have not driven that yet, so
It's
amazing.
really good. It's quiet, it's fast, the torque is fantastic.
Yeah, so this is for me a really like if I'm like a family with two kids, I would say I would operate more there because it's more cozy. If I really want to go out with many friends, also in the Mediterranean, I would more go with this one because you have so much space to
Yeah.
move. Yeah, so there's so much free space because again we're having here like the main setup like we have on the C9, so the same walkway to the front, but there's so much space here which you can freely use, even with this cushion here on the
the
side.
railing cushions. Yeah.
Yes, the railing cushion. There's another one in the front. So it's the idea, same as this cushion here. The idea is just, you know, standing also around, having a beer in your hand, having a coffee. Or, you know, it's not always like, people sometimes think it's good when you have so many dedicated seats.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's also nice to have free space, because
It
then
is,
you
it
can
is.
make yourself the right place. It's the same when many people gather in your kitchen more than in your living room,
is.
because it's this
Standing
free
somewhere
space,
like
standing
you are.
somewhere, and
Yeah.
it's like more relaxed
Yeah.
than sitting in an ordered place. I showed that in my video. I don't think you need to do that again. So this is flippable, so we can make a sunbed. We also can take this table to the front, which we maybe should do, because we have not done that in the
tape.
yes, I take the two, because we have not done that in the video. And I really like this on the front deck, which in a very easy move with this bayonet locking.
So now you make the
Footstay.
sunbed in the back, but you still want to have a table to
table,
enjoy something
yes.
to eat, and then you put
And then we
it
can
up.
even do later the sunbed, so
Yeah.
you can sit here.
And then moving the railing cushions to the front.
The other one we have here, putting in the sunshade on the
Yes.
on the top, which is not installed in this particular boat now. But you can easily sit here with 2, 4, 6 people here on the
Yeah.
front deck. And I really like on the front deck in the Mediterranean, you always have the boat for sure goes on the louv side, not on the stern and the leeward side. And then you have a more breeze here in the front. You're sitting a little bit higher, so you have a nice view,
Nice view, yeah.
around, and because you're a little bit more disconnected from the T-top, or if it's a C9. What we do here, we could also do on the C9, not on the V9, but on the C9.
Yeah.
And there you also would then have just the deck house a little bit more away from you. Then we have a nice thing also when you get on board. This is the same on the C9. So you have a hatch here in the front, where you can easily then store stuff getting on board from the front,
Yeah.
as you said before, bags and so on. So you come on board and just throw them down there, and then later when you change dressing, you're just going down and find your bag down there. This boat is quite fast. It's the fastest, I would say, from what we show now with the twin engine. It's like 40 knots. It's quite going
it's
very
impressive.
well. Yeah, very impressive. Also can take waves very good. You know, we had people love it in Mallorca in the boat club in the charter. So we're having we're selling we sold the. It's called Tom 3 now, and it has in 1 year it got 500 hours, 550 hours. So it really was loved, and we will exchange it for sure into a new T9.
But in that case, with the boat club and everything, this boat with the walk around, it's easy for people maybe that's not so common to be out on a boat.
Yeah, because this we should show just shortly again. This is the same feeling you described in the C9, that being here at the helm, you know, every boat, I'm always saying this, there's the advantage which brings a disadvantage. There's never a perfect boat.
Yeah.
So every owner has for himself to decide where he positions himself to read what the designer in the end tried to position there.
Yeah.
And this is when you have a center console boat, both sides sidewalk. I can easily get out here, but for the same time I can also get out there. Even can you just sit here? Yeah, I can even pass you here and get out to the port side, which is only possible with this kind of boat. Or being here, I don't want to pass there, I can just pass behind you and I'm already at the center cleat.
Yeah.
So the moving possibilities I have on this boat, even being, you know, we're just two people now, and just imagine you're with 10 people on there. So everywhere will be somebody, but you will always find your way through that boat. And this is the really key. So especially when you're a beginner, then this really helps, because you will always reach the middle cleat, you always reach the helm. Even, you know, there's some friends of yours on board which have drunk maybe some beers too much, you will always find your way. Because I had when we were out in between the islands in Cannes, I was there with the T9 and I was driving, so I didn't drink, but everybody else had a good time. And you know, it's very relaxing, because you know you will always find your way back to the cleat or to the front line, to the mooring line, and back to the helm with the throttle. So very easy.
And
then,
we have things all over what I can grab.
Yes.
So you know they are safe wherever they are. You can trust that everybody has somewhere to grab
even if
on.
you go fast and there's
Even
lots of
fast.
people on board, not everybody's sitting, everybody can hold himself.
The
wherever
stern
he
gates,
wants.
just close up for the dogs or
Yeah,
kids or
yeah.
whatever. Okay, you can
Oh yeah,
the
we can
time to
just
show
show to flip the sunbed now as we took the table away. Oh, and the wet bar.
Yeah.
The
You can
roof.
have a barbecue up here
Yeah.
if you want that. You have the fridge underneath.
There's a change in the roof which was executed in 2022, I think.
Yep.
So there was a roof version 1, 2. There was
Yes.
So you were struggling a little bit with the first two designs. I think there was first of all a roof a little bit similar like this, but a bit.
The first one was
Glass
same
fiber?
as we have on the W9.
Ah, okay, that was the same
Yes.
roof. Yeah, and that felt a little bit too big in the end.
Yes.
Then you decided to do a similar construction like this, but in black,
Yeah.
which we both didn't like so much because black is not for us like a Nimbus thing.
Oh,
You know,
I like stainless.
Stainless is the right color for a Nimbus or the right material, and also white glass fiber. And this is the result. Very cool also with this design with the rail on the side, which then holds the roof racks, which
Yeah.
are also optional, and the interior lighting. And then what is nice is the light comes through.
Yes, I will say.
Very nice. In the Mediterranean, we tinted a little bit,
Yeah.
so they're not getting too hot below. But with the tinted glass plexi, it's perfect. And you always have a little light, especially when you put the canopy on. This is works very well because the canopy is not standing over anywhere. It's closing all over the site.
And what's really good with the glass is also it's the same material as you have in the welding masks. So it protects you from the UV from the sun.
Okay, so you can never get a sunburn below.
It takes away a lot of it. So
Good.
we talk wakeboard or this water activities. So when you have this open deck, or you put this down, you have so many that can stand, having an eyes on the people in the water. An easy way to move around.
Yeah, and even enough space to place the wakeboard, put it on the wheels,
Put it
like
up,
big
you can
bathing
easily sit
platform.
there.
Gibt's irgendwelche Fragen, Michel? Nix. Good. I think that was it. I think good overview, the differences between the... What is your favorite?
I would
Wait,
say,
no. Favorite in the West Coast?
I mean, even if I do boating all year around, I love to be outside. So T9, but I will end up in the W9.
W9.
Yeah, because I like the seating, the asymmetric deck, and what you can do that to have the seat around, read a book or enjoy the dinner a little more, and also feel protected for everybody.
For me, it's the T9. It's a little bit
Yep.
more sporty. It's. I can invite many friends and having a sort of more water sport platform.
Yeah.
To take a flight boat with me, go into bay. I have just more possibilities on that boat, and with the twin engine, it's really fun to drive. So that's my choice. So I'm gonna take this one, and you take then this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Have a deal. You talk with Jan-Erik, yeah?
Yeah, it's no problem, I think.
Okay. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis morgen.